Hello, thank you for joining the Revver webinar series. Today we'll be discussing the Q1 2025 product updates that have been occurring in Revver that you've been seeing on your accounts, and want to bring you up to speed on those updates and what you can experience in Revver going forward. So I'll be your host today. My name is Josh Allen. I've been at Revver for 6 years as a customer account executive. My role here is to help clients find different solutions within Revver to be able to expand their use case and to be successful across their whole organization. More of these features within Revver to find more success as you're managing your documents and to find additional uses throughout your organization. Some sample topics will be product enhancements, maybe some best use case practices within your organization and within the type of environment that you're using Revver, a product application, and also some Revver services. One thing I wanted to bring to light today before we jump into this webinar is we have a Q&A section where if you have any questions about things that we're going over today or anything regarding your account, you can go into the Q&A, ask those questions, and I do have Chris and Mike who are assisting me to be able to answer those questions on the back end. Before we get started, I wanted to jump into this quick poll and ask what kind of documents are you currently working with? Employee documents, customer documents, legal documents, operations, or other. Appreciate your input here. It looks like we have a lot of people attending today who are using customer type documents within their organization, a lot of employee documents as well. So that gives us a good idea of how you're currently utilizing Revver. So thank you for doing that. So a little overview about our session today. We're going to be highlighting the product enhancements that have been implemented in Revver in Q1 and to help you to get instant value from those enhancements within Revver. First, we'll be going over our improved guest user branding and how you can brand things, brand sharing to people outside of your organization. So for those who are dealing with customer documents, this will be essential and extremely helpful. We'll be discussing exporting document workflow history, upload links, and also shareable document collections. Before we jump into that, I wanted to highlight first the Revver Document Success Framework. Now, if you've been meeting with your customer success manager or your account executive, it's likely that you've seen this document or this framework. What this is our journey in taking our clients from A to Z. So when you first come to Revver, we work on centralizing your data. So taking your paper documents that are in a big, tall, clunky file cabinet and getting those scanned in, secured, stored, easy to search, and very accessible. And so that is step one in the process, is centralizing those documents, role-based security, getting permissions, and making it a secure workspace for you and your team. Then we go into new processes, identifying how you're currently doing things within your organization and how to help you to be more efficient and decrease some of those manual tasks with things like ready-made templates, document requests, and other processes. And then later in the framework, we get you to streamline that data and increase your processing speed and decrease the complexity within your organization. So things like workflow, some automated processes to help streamline those processes from A to Z. And then in the end, once we have these things in place, we can actually gather some actionable data from things that are going on within your document management. So a quick question for this is, within the document framework, we're just curious, where do you think you're at in this process? Are you at the beginning centralizing, still scanning in and storing documents? Have you started these new processes? Are you at streamlining, or are you now towards the end and gathering a bunch of data? And all these answers are going to be essential in working with your customer success manager and your account executive to be able to help you move along this framework and get more and more value from Revver, and that's our goal here. And it looks like we have a lot of you chiming in. The leader is streamlined, so we're happy to see that you're finding that value and moving across this platform. And so for those that are in centralized or feel like you're still spinning your wheels and getting started, we just ask you to continue to reach out to your customer success manager, your account executive, and we'll provide you ways to do that after this meeting so that we can help you to implement more of these features. So the first thing to discuss today is we're going to talk about the branded guest experience. So for those who are sharing documents with people outside of your organization, this is a great feature to make sure that your clients, your employees or clients are feeling secure and safe, knowing that they're in the right location to share their documents. The nice thing about this branded guest experience is you could lead with your logo and powered by Revver on your guest user pages. So there is an option for a neutral color scheme. We had a lot of feedback where clients maybe don't love the purple as much as we do. And so you can utilize a neutral color scheme with that as well. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that within the Revver framework. So here's my Revver screen. Today, I'm just going to be utilizing the website application or website address here. For those of you who aren't aware, you can actually download that desktop application here by following the question mark and going to download the Revver app. That's where I typically am using my Revver account. But for today, I'm going to be on the web address. So to access the branding feature, I'm going to go to the All Features tab here on the far left in the purple. And I'm going to go to account settings. And then within account settings, I'm going to go to branding. Now you'll need the appropriate permissions to be able to do this. If you are a user and not an admin with the appropriate permissions, you won't be able to edit this. So you'll want to make sure you have those correct permissions to do so. But here within branding, I can actually update the account name. As you see on the top right, mine says JA. I've uploaded a logo. This is not a custom created logo by me, but this is one that I found. Josh Allen, that is my name. So I'm using Allen in this reference. And then the sign-in page, excuse me. I'm using a sign-in domain and I'm including this company logo. So this is that image that you will see as a guest user of my account when you're logging in. You'll see that it's Revver and you're at the Allen account. Here also I could provide a welcome message. So I'm going to say howdy. Let's say, thank you for joining the webinar. And this is something that you could update from time to time if you need to. And I want to include that company logo there as well. And then we get to the guest user theme, the purple or the light theme. And I'm going to go with the light theme today. Now, just note this, in order to apply this guest user theme, you will need to upload a logo to be able to use for your organization. So that is a key feature or a key thing to note, that you need to have a logo there to use the light theme. And then I will save those changes. Perfect. The branding has now been saved. And so this is set up for my guest user experience for anybody who is needing to access documents that I share with them from my Revver account. So I want to go back to a poll question real quick and just see how many of you are actually using branding, or how useful would this be for your organization? Very useful, somewhat useful, not very useful. And I would say if the majority of you are working with customers or client base, it seems like that might be a pretty useful thing for people exterior from your organizations. And the poll is agreeing with that. So very useful, somewhat useful are taking the lead. We will be providing a Help Center article for you on how to set this up as well. So that'll be included with a copy of this, or a recording, a link to this recording as well. So we will provide that for you at the end of this meeting. Number 2 is exporting your document workflow history. So, in finding out how many of you are utilizing workflow, and we will discuss that with this poll question here in a second. But I wanted to show this export of document workflow history. Within workflow, you can go in and create a CSV file based on the workflow status, assignees, who the workflows have been assigned to, and selection of dates in a period of time. And you can actually audit and look at these workflows to see how many are being completed, how many are being rejected, how long is it taking for these workflows to complete, and maybe where along the line that workflow is getting held up. So if you were, for example, assigning a workflow to a group to be able to approve a workflow, and let's say Sally is approving the workflow every time and Jim is never approving the workflow. Within this CSV export, you can actually see where those hiccups are, where those bottlenecks are, and be able to maybe have those conversations or reassign those workflows to the appropriate people who will get them done. I'm going to pull over my Revver real quick just to give an insight on that. So here on the far left side, I can go to my workflow tab. And then here within instances, I can actually select the workflow status that I want to look at. So for this instance, let's just say succeeded. And for the users, I'm just going to select myself and I'm going to apply that filter. And as you can see, I'm batting 1,000. Everything's been succeeded or completed. And so you can look at those reports and create that CSV and export that by clicking on the ellipsis and export that data. And so you could play around with these different ways to be able to look at instances. And like I said, the different statuses that are happening within those workflows, who they've been assigned to as users or groups, and be able to drill down and see what is happening within those workflows. So I'm going to ask another poll question here. Are you currently using workflows within Revver? As we look back at that document success framework, workflow is a key feature, obviously, to help you to streamline your use case, to increase your processing speed and decrease the complexity. And so we want to be able to help you utilize this feature within Revver. And so if you are needing that help and assistance, obviously chime into the chat and we can make sure that we reach out to you and follow up with you after this webinar. And it looks like the majority are not using workflow. So maybe just think about your day-to-day processes, and as you bring in documents to Revver, where do those documents end and reside? Are they just being saved in Revver? Do they have to go through a process of approvals or paid invoices? What kind of things happen with that document once it comes into Revver? And that's where workflow could be extremely powerful for your organization. Okay, item 3 is creating an upload link. This is a feature that was most likely shared by your customer success manager or account executive in the past 4 to 6 months. This is a feature that got unlocked by Revver recently to be able to create a powerful link for your clients to be able to upload documents to you securely. So this is different than setting up a client as a guest to be able to access a container where you share documents back and forth. Think of a big pot where your clients can share documents securely, and you are just the recipient of those documents. So you could extend a link to others to upload into a specific location. This is extremely powerful for client management, manually shared, email signature, and posted to the site. You create one link, and you can have this tailored branding that we talked about earlier, and I'm going to show you exactly how that would work with the upload link. So here in my Revver setup, I'm just going to go to my folder structure, and I'm going to play right here in my demo documents. So I've created a drawer within my demo documents called upload links. And let me just delete this drawer or folder, pardon me. And I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call this webinar. So as you can see, I already have an upload link folder called My Uploads. If I right click on that, I can view that upload link. That's already been created. I've already used this and utilized this with clients. But I'm going to use this new location for our purposes today. So with the webinar, I'm going to right click and I'm going to create an upload link. I could customize this title right here. I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to create that link. And now I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to provide this into the webinar chat. So I invite all of you, if you have a document that you want to upload, let's say it's a picture of your puppy, a blank document or anything that you wanted to share and upload, I'm going to toggle to a screen where we can see those documents that have been uploaded. So that's a general link that I can embed on a web page. I can embed on my email, and you can utilize that to be able to share a document with me. For the My Uploads location, I'm just going to show you how that works. This is my email signature, and I've embedded right here in my signature the Upload Documents Here tab. And I'm just going to navigate there so you can go along with me with the link that's in the chat. It's just going to ask for the full name, and the email is optional. I'm just going to put mine in and then agree. Now, it doesn't ask for a password. You're not logging in like you would in a guest experience. You're simply just notating who you are and what you're uploading. So here we see my branding. So this is an extremely powerful thing that we love about upload links is we set up this branding earlier in this webinar with Alan and howdy, thank you for joining the webinar. So you can see right now a client or a customer who's coming into your workspace as a guest, they could say, oh, wow, this is going to the right place. It's going to Allen Corporation, and I trust this. This looks good. So I'm going to close that. Once again, Allen powered by Revver. And then you would just click and upload whatever document you want to upload. So I'm just going to pick a random document here, and then I'm going to finish that request. Now you can do multiple documents. You could use that repeatedly over and over and over until the person who created that link takes it down. Perfect. So now that that's been done, I'm going to go back into Revver. So upload links, we have My Uploads, but I'm going to go into the webinar, and it looks like Mike, thank you. Mike uploaded a document for us. And if I wanted to see if anybody else uploaded a document, I can stay here and hang out, but we're going to play with Mike's document there. So Mike uploaded a document to me, use that link. The nice thing about this document that Mike uploaded is his document actually has a lot of information on it. And this is to show you one of our upcoming features that will be released here shortly. So Mike uploaded a document that has a lot of handwritten information. And our idea of what we love about this is we could capture that information or that metadata and save it onto the account as profile information. So with our upcoming feature, it is Smart Extract powered by AI. We're going to be holding that webinar in 2 weeks to be able to talk about the Smart Extract feature. But as you can see with this document that Mike uploaded, if I do go to that profile information and refresh, that should update that profile information on that document. Now, it could take anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds, and so I can come back to that here in a minute, but it will upload that profile information onto the document, and then we can actually navigate that document and store it according to that profile information as well. So more on that to come in the upcoming webinar. And also, if you would like to know more about that, message into our chat Q&A, and we can definitely have your customer account executive reach out to you. But back to the upload link, this is a great simple way to be able to gather those documents and have them uploaded to your firm by simply creating a link and sharing that out to your client base. So I wanted to ask another question about the upload links. Where do you see yourself using upload links the most? Internal team members or external guests? Super. So the majority external guests, but there is still an internal need, and we're happy to see that. And it's very easy and simple to set up. And once again, you'll want to make sure that your users have the permissions to be able to share and generate those links. If they don't have those permissions within their user license, then they will not be able to do so. Okay. Item number 4. So shared collections. This is a new and differentiated way to be able to collaborate around your document work. So with the shared collections, it's an easy way to manage work across your team more efficiently. You can share those collections with users or groups. The important thing to notice about collections is that the item permissions will rule. And so when you're giving item permissions to your team or users in Revver, if you share that collection with a group, the permissions that you have on those items will remain the same. So adding people to a group will not override the item permissions. This is a great way to quickly make updates and changes to the needs and roles of your organization, or to collaborate around projects and particular work. Looking at my Revver account, I'm just going to navigate here to the home screen. So here, obviously on the far right, we can see our favorites. These will be particular documents or locations that you've highlighted as something you want to get to quickly, but here you'll also see the list of collections that you've added to your account. When I go to my documents and I go from folder view over to collections, we can see not only those favorites, but also these collections that have been created. And so the way to do that is if I'm in my folder view and I wanted to create a collection, let's just say I wanted to go to the HR list and employees, I can right click on that and add it to a collection. And let's just do a new collection. And I will say new employees. And let's say I just want to, we'll start with that folder, but I want to add employee folder 2. And I'm going to assign that to that new employees collection. And maybe there's a particular document that I want to add to that as well. I know accounting probably wouldn't be the place, but I'm just going to say, let's add this to that collection as well. Now, when I go into my collections, I see that new employee collection that has both employee folders and that new questionnaire. And so at any time, I can actually come into the collections, view those documents, add more documents and locations to that quick access collection to be able to work on it as a team and collaborate. Now, if I wanted to share that collection, I can right click on the particular collection and I can share that with a user or a group. So let's say there was an HR group or another group that I wanted to share that to. This, once again, will not override the item permissions on those locations, but rather would give the appropriate access as it's currently assigned to the users to work within that collection. So wanted to ask here, how useful would shared collections be in your day-to-day work? So it looks like it's even across the board, about a third in each category. Very useful, somewhat useful, not very useful. So thank you for voting there. I do want to highlight here that within the user permissions and how to assign those permissions and give people access to those items and such. First off, on the items, if you're not fully aware, to be able to give access to an item and give permissions therein, you'll click on the location. So here, let's say the insurance group, and I'll go over here to the far right side, the permissions. So if I need to assign and give access to that location, I will push the plus sign and give the appropriate access. And then within the user licenses, going to all features and users, here you would be able to select the appropriate user. They have a license, and then you can make sure that they have the appropriate access within their licensing to be able to perform the functions of sharing, of branding, and other features within Revver as well. I'm going to turn to Mike Binks, who's been moderating and watching the chat and helping with the chat along with Chris Wicks, and see if there's any particular questions that have come in that we want to answer.
Yeah, Josh had a question from Maria asking, why would you use upload links rather than shared folder?
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mike. So Maria, thanks for your question. Why would you use upload links instead of a shared folder? Simple answer is the shared folder is a way to be able to share documents back and forth in a secure location. If you, Maria, and I, let's say you're a client and I need documents from you, but you also need documents from me, I could give you access to a particular shared folder where we can go back and forth. Very secure. Now, in that manner, you're going to have to manage a password. You're going to log in. And when you log in, all you'll see is that shared folder. The difference with the upload links is it's a container where all the clients or all the people exterior of my organization or of a guest or of a user license can dump documents to me. So there's no sharing from me to you. It's just everybody sharing those to me. So in showing that, I just wanted to show here on the shared location. If I'm going to share a folder with a client, I'm just going to go to my drawer. And I created a sharing folder here. So let's say you're an accountant and you're keeping track of all these tax years and you want to share out a location where you will upload documents to me, W-2, 1099, and I'm going to share your tax returns. In this manner, I would right click and I would share. And I would add in your email address. So let's just say I just put in Mike Binks. I'd add a message and I'd give the appropriate permissions of viewing, downloading, and now uploading documents to me. So the experience would be similar, but once again, the upload link would be a one-way transaction where I'm just collecting information. So I hope that does answer that question.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. Do we have another one, Mike, that you want to send over?
Yeah, building on that same question is Zan is asking what would be the difference between an upload link and a doc request? So we kind of have the three-pronged approach as far as sharing and collecting documents. Could you kind of explain the difference between the three?
Absolutely, yeah. So upload link and a guest experience or a shared folder, we've highlighted those two. A doc request would be a way to request a specific document. So if you come here on your far left and you go to doc requests, and so I could go to a new request, and this could go to a specific person with a specific document. You can request that file or a fillable form. And this would be a document request for a specific document. Let's say a missing I-9 or a new employee handbook or whatever the case may be. You can request that specific document through the document request. And it just highlights that exact document where you can actually have it save into the appropriate manner with the naming that you need into Revver once that request is fulfilled. So as you see, you can set the destination and map that to your Revver experience. They're all powerful features and can be used throughout your account, but there might be one that would be more suited for your experience and what you're wanting to. Hope that answers your question, Zane. Thank you, Mike. Is there another one that we wanted to go over?
I'm seeing all these questions coming in. Another one regarding workflows, Josh. How do I know if I have workflows?
Yeah, great question.
What the resources are for work.
Okay, yeah, great question. So all accounts come with workflow. Now, the level and the amount of workflow may vary from account to account and the type of license you have, but all accounts do come with workflow to be able to utilize within Revver. Now, the big thing to know about that is who has access to workflow, who can participate in those, who can generate those and start those. And so that may be a difference in licensing, and you'll want to talk to your account executive if you don't have access to workflows currently. But one thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to go into your all features and go to your users. And I'm going to click on my user license here, full user, and under management, I could see work features and workflow. And so if you are a standard user, maybe that's been turned off. Maybe your admin has not given you access to workflow. And if you're an admin and you see your box checked and it's not grayed out, then you do have access to workflow. So this is a great way to be able to see what system permissions do you have? What can you do within Revver? And most likely that is checked and you do have access. It's just learning how to utilize that. And so we just invite you to reach out to your customer success manager or account executive after this call if you're wanting to utilize workflow within your environment or have more questions about workflow. We are happy to follow up with you and set up a call and help you to learn the power of workflow therein. Great question. Anything else, Mike? Let's do one more. We have some time here.
Wanted to answer a few more questions here. This one is regarding collections, Josh. What happens when I share collections with the group? Does it override permissions?
Great question. Yeah, I think that might be a little worry as we start to play with this new feature and say, I'm sharing it, I'm giving it this access to HR. What's going to happen to those inherent item permissions that we have on those documents? So that is the key, is item permissions will rule. So when we do start a collection and we share that collection out, just because I'm giving access of this collection to that HR group, you have to have access to those documents. This collection here, Project 101, I've given access to HR. Now, if HR, the group members therein, don't have access to this particular document, they still cannot see that document. So they have to have access or permissions on those items to be able to view it within the collection. Okay, so you can play around with that, but that is how it works. So they have to have access to the items. Thank you, Mike. And if you do have any other questions that have come in through the Q&A, those will all be answered. And so if you're waiting for an answer, we will get those answers to you. But I know Mike and Chris have been staying up on those. Chris, did you have anything you wanted to add or any questions that came your way that you wanted to speak about?
Not at this time, but thank you, Josh.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Well, we appreciate all you for participating in the Q&A. Obviously, we want to make sure you get all the answers that you're seeking. We'll be following up with you on those if you didn't get them today. But just wanted to wrap this up as far as the key takeaways for the Q1 2025 product enhancements. Number 1 was improving your customer experience with improved branding. 2 was servicing more workflow processing data with the history export. 3, safe and secure uploading made easy with Revver upload links. And 4, improve team collaboration with shareable document collections. So please reach out to your Revver Success team, and we'd be more than happy to connect with you and help implement some of these things within your organization. As always, our Revver Help Center is a great resource to be able to learn how to utilize these items. You can follow tutorials on the Revver Help Center. We invite you to bookmark that on your webpage just so you know how to get to it quickly. And also within Revver, at the top right on the question mark, you can quickly access the resource page and also support chat for any other assistance that you need. So just want to thank you for taking the time for joining us. We're excited to work with you as your customer success team and account management team. Happy to have you as a client on this journey with Revver, and we hope you have a wonderful day. We'll look forward to talking with you soon.